How's it going? I'm Chris with PearsonCopy.com, and I'm here to help you make more sales with email. As a part of my 108 email breakdown in 100 days challenge, I'm helping ecom brands like yours make more sales with email through these insight-laden breakdowns. So basically, what I do is I go through emails. I sign up to brands' email lists. I go through the emails. I break them down. I try to pull some insights out and deliver that to you based on my experience with email marketing, strategy, copywriting, etc. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and dive into this email. This is a welcome email from a brand called QuietOn. They are earbuds that you wear while you sleep, and they have some pretty cool features that can make it a lot easier to keep the sound out while you're sleeping. So I'm going to go ahead and break this down. Again, the context is this is a welcome email, and we'll go through that as we examine this email. That being said, let's go and start with the subject line. Thanks for joining the QuietOn family. This is pretty standard, straightforward. It's a welcome to the family or welcome to the brand subject line. It's pretty straightforward, pretty standard when it comes to emails from e-commerce brands. Something you can do here is instead of saying welcome to the family, you can say welcome to the club, tribe, anything that has to do with like a group. You can say welcome to the group. You can say, but essentially what you're trying to do is get people to come in and say, okay, I'm a part of something special here for joining the list. That definitely helps when it comes to subject lines and getting people to feel like it's an exclusive thing as opposed to just another email list they're joining. Moving down, with the from name and the from email. QuietOn sticks with the standard brand name for the from name, and the email is the info@quieton.com. I do like it's very simple. It's very easy to see and find and potentially reply to. They do include a reply to email, which means that they are accepting replies when it comes to these emails. I do like to see this when it comes to being a consumer myself. It's like I can hit reply and actually this email will go somewhere. It's not a no reply email address. If you have a no reply email address, I would highly encourage you to get that switched out so you can have a reply email address so customers can get a hold of you if they would like to reply to emails. One of the best things, or one of the things that's better than opens and clicks is a reply. Email providers that see your customers replying to your emails, that's a huge positive signal that you're sending stuff that your subscribers actually want to get, as opposed to like all the other brands that are saying just marketing material, trying to get into somebody's inbox and sell them something. So customers being able to reply to you is a huge deal when it comes to deliverability and, again, just engagement with your customers. Let's go and move down. So this email doesn't use, if you take just a quick scroll here with me, it doesn't use a whole lot of design, but if you're using a lot of design, having a view this email in your browser link at the top definitely helps because they can click on this and open this email outside of their email inbox and in a browser tab. If you use a lot of design or heavy design layouts, this definitely helps people engage and consume the email if their email provider doesn't allow them to see the images, or there's loading issues, or something's just not formatted correctly. So having this at the top, if you have a design heavy email that you're sending out, or emails, is definitely helpful. Next, we get to I would call this a branded image because even though we don't know who this woman is, they are using the product. The product is there in her ear, and they're showing that when you use the product, this is what you look like when you're sleeping. You're happy, you're quiet, and you're passed out, frankly. So I think that brands that do use images, should use their products in the images. Stock images do not sell unless you have something that is so narrowly specific to what you're doing. And you can find that image, great. If not, I would just invest in getting the image taken of the products while they're in use so you can do some kind of demonstration. Demonstration is a selling point. It is a selling mechanism. So being able to do that with your images can help. While I definitely lean more towards plain text and trying to sell without the use of branding and design, just because I don't think when it comes to selling something, images are as powerful as words. And so, but if you do use images, you do use it, make sure your brand is inside of them. So let's go and move down here. So here it looks like, let's click on that. When I signed up for, that's what I did. So the note here is I signed up for this welcome email. I signed up for this list, and they asked for my first name, and I gave it, and they didn't use it as a personalization when it comes to opening up this email. Now, you don't have to use personalization in this sense. This is pretty much saturated. People expect to see their names in emails, and if they don't, it doesn't really bother them. If you put their names in the middle of the text in the copy, however, that's still pretty new. So if they're reading through this paragraph here in the middle, and their name pops up and says, hey, for example, my name's Chris. So it's like, hey, Chris, are you considering treating yourself or loved one to a very own portion of, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That can get some attention, but you have to get them down there first. So, but yeah, just to know here is I gave my first name, and it's not being used here in the welcome email. There probably might be some disconnect somewhere. There's a technical issue somewhere, or they just simply didn't use it, and that's fine. But I would expect that if I'm going to give my name up. Next thing. So this first line here is basically just saying thank you for subscribing, as you can read here, and it's a very warm welcome to QuietOn. So something I noticed here is the copy. It seems a little bit rough. It doesn't seem very smooth. So thank you very much for subscribing to our newsletter, and a very warm welcome to QuietOn. So QuietOn's the product and the brand. So maybe a little reworking here to make it sound smoother. This doesn't sound like something somebody would say in person. It's not very conversational. It sounds more formal than it does informal. And that's something I'd maybe test here with this, is the copy in general sounds a little bit more formal than most brands are using today. While this product may be a little bit more expensive, it may be in the mid to high tier market when it comes to price. Still saying conversational with your copy can help with clicks and conversions. And then here, stay tuned for news and special offers. This is the first email I've gotten. If I sign up for a list to get an incentive, I intend to buy. But when it says stay tuned for news and special offers, the news here, you have to tell me why it matters. Like, why should I listen to your news instead of some other news station or news channel or other email newsletter? And then special offers, what does that mean? There are so many different types of special offers out there in the market, and I've seen a ton of them as a consumer. So it's like, okay, this line here is way too general for me. I would highly encourage you to go more specific of like, stay tuned for news on and list specific things. Ideally, those topics or those concepts are what you're going to share is going to be directly targeted at the customer's pain points, their problems, things that they're struggling with that you can maybe give them some insight on, help them solve. So yeah, get more specific with this phrase. I think that the idea of saying stay tuned for this and that is a great way to let people know what to expect. However, I would get way more specific on this and list out 3 to 5 things per, stay tuned for news on, and then 3 to 5 things. And then also stay tuned for special offers and then list the types of special offers you could potentially list in the future, or mention some stuff you've done in the past. For example, I got a SMS text earlier today from a brand that I follow and I buy from. And they're actually doing a giveaway to Costa Rica. So it's a brand that I wouldn't expect that from, but they're doing a giveaway to Costa Rica for 2, I believe. And so that's the type of offer you could say, hey, we did a giveaway to go to Costa Rica. We've done this, that, and the other. And you should expect stuff like that in the future, because we like to do that to keep our customers engaged, or at least to, give you something. Even if you're not going to buy our product, or if you're still considering it, here's some ways to make them feel good or make you feel good for being around our brand, or some reasons to stay and listen to us while we sell. So just get more specific on this line. I think it would do better for you. As a little welcome present. See the notes over here. Oh, yes. So again, I mentioned this in a few other videos, but there are times when either the copywriter or the people are creating these email marketing campaigns or broadcasts, the single emails, right? Is they do what's called burying the lead, and that's basically the angle or concept or the big idea of the email. They bury it somewhere in the copy in the email. Now, this term comes from, as I understand it, from sales letters, long form sales letters, direct response. So burying the lead could be 4, 5, 6, 10, 15 pages in, and that's where they bury the angle and concept. This email, it's not really. Technically, it's not really burying it. It's like 3 or 4 paragraphs in. But I think they really did bury the lead on this, is the idea of a welcome present. I have yet to see that out of the videos I've done breakdowns on. I've seen gifts given, I've seen things like that, but calling it a welcome present, that's a fun angle. It's an interesting angle. I haven't seen it very often. And I think, honestly, they could change their subject line and say, hey, we have a welcome present for you. Here's a welcome present for our new subscriber or new member or new whatever, and tie in that newness into the subject line, and you could probably get your open rates a little higher. So yeah, that was just an idea there. I think everything else in this is a feature benefit combo. So I think they do well there. The discount is here. And I just think that maybe playing on that welcome present might be a better way to get opens and clicks when it comes to this email. And then finally, or not finally, but there's a few more pieces here. So, and I've been harping on this a lot in the other videos, is when you do a complex coupon code, it causes friction. So even if it's an autofill into a cart, people see that 10, 15, 20 character code, and their first thought is, oh crap, I have to remember that, right? So so what I would do is just do something like welcome 10 or brand name 10 or whatever 10 or less character you can do. it's just gonna make it easier if they do think they have to remember. And most people think, oh, I have to remember this. Or if you're gonna do those long characters, 10, 15, 20 characters, mention in the email that you don't have to remember this. It's gonna autofill when you shop. Just click here to start. That's something that when you put that brings up an objection, right? It brings up friction. So you need to address that if you're going to use a long character count when it comes to your code. If you don't want to deal with that at all, just use something like welcome 10, etc. Welcome 10, buy now 10, first or new subscriber 10, something shorter, something easy to remember. And that's going to help a ton. And then, so they go right here, the direct hyperlink to their shop, which I think is great. Buttons can work. I prefer hyperlinking text or even just what's called a naked link. So it's just the URL pasted in here, HTTP, et cetera, domain.com/whatever. And you just put it right in here. Now, if you're going to do that with what's called a naked link, you don't want to have that / be so long that it's just obnoxious, right? So you want it to be less than one, at least less than one line of text or, in your copy, and you want it to be simple and you want to be able to click. So it's not just, 4 or 5 lines like a Google Doc if you're sharing a Google Doc, right? So just make sure that's the case. But I think right here, this is perfect. It's just one word. You can click, you can hyperlink this. People click on that and they can go. You can also track that click depending on the email software you're using. Most of them can track clicks. If they can't, I would potentially advise you or encourage you to go to a different email software if you can't track what people are clicking on in your email. So with that little rant over, let's keep going. We got 2 more pieces left here. And then the last piece of the copy here, it says here, all the best. And once again, thank you for joining us. When I initially read this, I just felt forced a little bit. All the best. And once again, thank you for joining us. It just feels a little forced. I would just say just a little sign off here and don't make it so formal. This is definitely more of a formal sign off. I'd make it a little more informal and just say, hey, thanks for joining our QuietOn team. Or we're glad you're here, QuietOn team. So that's the last piece there. And then finally, you have your footer information. So you have your socials, you have your footer disclaimers and things like that, and why they opted in, and then the email, the company's address and such. So that being said, those are some insights I take away from this email. If you found some that are interesting that you could potentially use, take them back to your brand and apply them to your email copy, email strategy, etc. If you get results with them, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to talk to you about how you implement it and what that looks like. Otherwise, check out my other videos on YouTube of these email breakdowns. Like I said, I'm doing 100 emails over 100 days as a challenge, and you can go find insights in those videos.